Hello guys, welcome back to LR Anime. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of BTTH Rebirth of Emperor Yang episode number 36 based on novel. So let's start. Little guy, I just need to sleep. How can you poke such a big basket? You're really a troublemaker. Tut tut. Suddenly, the voice of Guyo's words sounded quietly from Xiao Yang's heart, and Xiao Yang ignored it, but he didn't think that he would know nothing about his war today in front of Guyo. Jiuyu also smiled and didn't bother to explain anything. Instead, he turned his voice and solemnly said to Xiao Yang, "Little guy, you know, this time you made a lot of trouble." Before Jiuyu's voice fell, Xiao Yang's face had completely become dignified. Jiuyu dared to say this, but Xiao Yang would not doubt it at all. However, for ordinary people, it may be a real destructive force, but for you, it may be an opportunity. Xiao Yang's face just showed a dignified color. Jiuyu's next words brightened Xiao Yang's eyes, and his eyes also looked at a recent energy vortex. Can you rely on that terrible guy to break through? Don't think about breakthrough. The generation of space vortex is special. You can trigger space vortex this time. It's really lucky, but it's unrealistic to want to break through. The reason why I say this may be your chance is that the real lethality of this space vortex lies in the damage to the body. Its terrible tearing force is enough to tear everything until it becomes nothingness. With your current physical strength, you can enter any one of them. If you can't escape as soon as possible, you will only be torn by it. Hearing this, Xiao Yang's face suddenly twitched violently. With his physical strength, he could not stay in the vortex for a moment. Could this also be his own chance? Jiuyu smiled and said to Xiao Yang, "Although the number of vortices in this space is up to dozens, in fact, they all circulate with each other, just like some space wormholes, but these guys seem chaotic. You can't know which vortex you will rush out from after you pass through a vortex. Therefore, they are completely equivalent to a vortex. As long as you are fast enough, you can walk freely between them, and the result is that its power will continue to bombard you, and you will raise the physical body to a more terrible level with the help of that power." The voice in Guyo's mouth just fell, but Xiao Yang couldn't help licking his lips with his tongue. If it was really like what Guyo said, these spatial vortices would no longer be terrible things that eat people, but pills to improve strength. With this in mind, Xiao Yang doesn't hesitate. There is such a rare cultivation treasure in front of him. Of course, he wants to seize the opportunity. Without waiting for Guyo to finish, Xiao Yang's body shape flashes instantly, and the dragon phoenix blood in his body is also stimulated at the same time. A solid layer of purple and gold dragon scale instantly wraps Xiao Yang's whole body. The light under his feet flashed and Tianjue stepped out. In the next moment, Xiao Yang's figure appeared in front of a nearby space vortex. Although Xiao Yang has great expectations for the vortex in the space according to the explanation of Jinguyu, before he really enters, Xiao Yang still can't help feeling that his scalp is numb. If there is any accident, he can really get in and can't get out. With a long sigh of relief, Xiao Yang was also strong in self-calmness and pressed down his violent beating mood. He held a breath in his chest and flashed his body, which immediately rushed into the vortex of the space. At the same time, the last reminder of Guyo was finally introduced into Xiao Yang's ears. "What's the hurry, little guy? The space pressure in this space vortex is more than dozens of times that of the outside world. After you go in, you must bear that pressure, otherwise, you want to go, which is also vain." As soon as his voice fell, Xiao Yang, who rushed into the vortex of space, was suddenly pressed down by a terrible threat of heaven and earth. His body was not stable. In an instant, he was crushed and fell to the ground by the terrible threat of heaven and earth. While falling to the ground, Xiao Yang also found that what earth is under him is also the terrible pressure of heaven and earth. These two forces protect and crush each other, making Xiao Yang's pressure double. Just for a moment, even with Xiao Yang's physical strength, he still felt that his muscles were bursting. Moreover, because of the void vortex, even if Xiao Yang wants to move his body, it is almost impossible. At the moment, Xiao Yang is like falling into the abyss of the sea. Even breathing seems like extravagant hope. At the moment, Xiao Yang finally saw the horror of the space vortex. The extreme pressure caused a more terrible space expansion, which made his muscles feel like they were going to explode. The longer he stayed in this space, Xiao Yang felt more and more clearly that his body was gradually expanding. From the outside, Xiao Yang's body shape at the moment was more than twice as big as that at the same time, just like a bloated fat man, but only Xiao Yang himself knew what terrible pressure his body was under at the moment. "Hey, smelly boy, You rushed in recklessly without listening to me finish what I said. Now you know the horror of this thing. Xiao Yang is in such a state, but Yu doesn't have the slightest worry. He can't know how terrible Xiao Yang's body is. Just so, it's far from reaching Xiao Yang's limit. Therefore, it seems quite interesting when talking. Hearing Yu's words, Xiao Yang also smiled in his heart. The originally nervous state of mind was quietly relaxed. Since Yu spoke, he would naturally have his own way to save. I'm afraid this state at the moment is all within Yu's expectation, but he just bumped into it. Hey, come on, it's enough to stick to it for so long. There are still a lot of space vortices behind. Don't make it through. Now, release all your physical strength. First remove the pressure around you. Next, it depends on your performance. Remember, if you use your fastest speed to cross the space vortex in an instant, it will trigger a space riot. As long as you can survive for a moment, the power in it will have endless benefits for the hardening of your body. However, if you want to support for a long time, how terrible these aspects are. You know that the power released by the space riot is definitely not something you can bear for a moment, it's your limit. Yu's voice fell, and Xiao Yang responded in his heart. He knew that Yu's vigilance was not empty words, and he didn't dare to be careless in his heart. The thought moved, and the Vajra glass body was instantly excited. Xiao Yang's originally inflated body also soared again, and the pressure from his body was relieved at the moment. Xiao Yang was finally able to breathe a long breath at ease. With the Dragon Phoenix ancient armor and the Vajra glass body, most of the terrible pressure around Xiao Yang was removed at this moment. His huge body suddenly shook. Xiao Yang suddenly shook his right palm into a fist, and the level 8 collapse was displayed in an instant. He punched hard towards the void space in front of him. Boom! The sound of a space explosion suddenly came, and an invisible space fluctuation also spread at the same time. The pressure around Xiao Yang was completely eliminated under this punch. When the pressure was removed, Xiao Yang's golden eyes suddenly flashed, and his huge body suddenly turned into a pillar of light and rushed to the depths of the space. Drink! Huangquan Tianyu. Moo! 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 At the moment of rushing forward, Xiao Yang took a big breath, and the yellow spring Tianyu was instantly displayed, and an invisible spatial fluctuation spread. The pressure in the space in front of Xiao Yang immediately decreased, and the speed of Xiao Yang's rushing forward soared again at the next moment, directly breaking through the constraints of all the pressure in the space vortex, and instantly appeared in the depths of the space vortex. Boom! Xiao Yang's body just passed, but the space this week suddenly sent out a burst of explosion. The whole space vortex was shocked at the moment, and the terrible suction of the outside world was also a sudden meal at the moment. Immediately, a series of explosions spread like setting off firecrackers and came after Xiao Yang. While the explosion passed, thick silver thunder and lightning also emerged from the void at the place of explosion. Then, they mingled and converged with each other, and turned into a thunder monster with thunder all over in this space vortex. Seeing this, Xiao Yang couldn't help but change his face slightly, but he didn't expect that the space riot would lead to a warcraft. Moreover, when Xiao Yang explored its breath, he was very dignified. The strength of the Thunder Beast was so deep that he seemed unable to explore the source of its strength. Such terrible strength, I'm afraid it was the lowest guy at the level of Fighting Emperor. Fighting Emperor, this level is still too far away for Xiao Yang today, but the Thunder Beast in front of him has reached such a detached position. Xiao Yang is afraid that he can't bear even his random blow. With this in mind, Xiao Yang's heart became extremely heavy in an instant. The boulder that had just fallen slowly in his heart a moment ago hit Xiao Yang's heart like a giant hammer. Hey, I can't imagine that this small space vortex can condense the empty Thunder Beast. Hey, it's good. It's just a virtual shadow. As long as you are fast enough, you can be safe. When Xiao Yang's heart was heavy, Yu's laughing voice came out of thin air, which also made Xiao Yang's face a little stunned. Then he frowned and asked Yu in his heart. Bone old, what is this empty Thunder Beast, not the Numenon? Hey, Numenon, if Numenon is here, don't let it take the initiative to attack, it's that residual power, which is enough to make you seriously injured and dying. At the moment, this seemingly powerful little guy is just a virtual shadow. Hearing the questions in Xiao Yang's words, Yu also smiled, and a light smile was aroused at the corners of his mouth, slowly opening his mouth and laughing. After hearing the real strength of the empty Thunder Beast, Xiao Yang felt a shock again. The strong man fighting the Emperor was really strong. He, Xiao Yang, can even deal with half-emperors, but in front of the real strong fighting Emperor, he is no different from them. Fighting Emperor is really worthy of the word Emperor. Seeing the shock on Xiao Yang's face, Jiuyu smiled softly, as if he intended to attack Xiao Yang, and smiled again. What's more, this guy is just a young empty thunder beast, a real adult thunder beast, which is the king of the void. Of course, this is to put aside the dragon family first. After all, the thunder beast family is just empty. There is some power of the void god thunder. Compared with the dragon family who specializes in playing with the power of space, they are like children playing with mud. Xiao Yang heard that at this point, the shock color on his face had already turned into a stunned face. The virtual thunder beast at the level of Fighting Emperor was, unexpectedly, only a child. What a terror should the strength of this real virtual thunder beast family be. However, after hearing the words below Guyo, Xiao Yang's sense of shock soared again. Xiao Yang was afraid to think more about the strength of the empty thunder beast family. But according to Guyo, the strength of the dragon family is even better than it. After sighing for a long time, Xiao Yang had to sigh helplessly. The dragon family is really the favorite of God. It is not only the flesh and strength that makes everyone jealous, but also the top forces in the mainland. It really makes people jealous. Just when Xiao Yang felt jealous of these two groups, the virtual shadow of the empty thunder beast standing hundreds of feet in front of Xiao Yang didn't mean to give Xiao Yang more time. The two seemingly stronger forelimbs suddenly shook, and an invisible space ripple spread. Although the empty thunder beast is only a virtual shadow, it has a breath of fighting the emperor. Under the full outbreak, even Xiao Yang is difficult to parry. In addition, if you are careless, I'm afraid Xiao Yang will be planted here. While the ripples in that space spread, the space in front of the empty thunder beast also appeared slowly in front of it with the spread of the ripples. At the moment when the light curtain appeared, the empty thunder beast also hit it, as if to smash the light curtain. But the next moment, Xiao Yang, who was in the distance, suddenly changed his face. Tianjue's step suddenly showed up, and his body suddenly turned into a streamer and rushed to the front. Bang! With the sound of body collision, the speed of Xiao Yang's forward rush intensified again. Even the golden light after Xiao Yang's display of King Kong glass body hid the light under this terrible speed. But for this, Xiao Yang at the moment can't mention the slightest joy, because all this is just the result of a heavy blow from the empty thunder beast. At the same time that the empty thunder beast bumped into the light curtain, the empty thunder beast was already pounding at Xiao Yang from behind. At such a terrible speed, Xiao Yang can't escape. He can resist this attack by force with his strong body, but it's very good. If he wants to escape, Xiao Yang admits that it's impossible even at the level of 9 stars and half emperors. It can be seen that the speed of the empty thunder beast has reached what kind of terrible level. The light curtain is not an ordinary light curtain at all. It is a spatial water curtain condensed by the extremely pure power of space. Wherever the mind goes, it can come in an instant. It can be said that the power of the space water curtain has transcended the level of the word speed. After all, no matter how fast the speed is, it cannot be compared with the idea. However, fortunately, although the attack of the Nether Thunderbeast is not vulgar, after all, the virtual shadow is the virtual shadow, which is enough to directly kill a 1-star and a half emperor. Under Xiao Yang's Dragon Phoenix Ancient Armor and King Kong Glass, most of the rest are still removed. Although the rest has some strength, it is also reluctantly resistant under Xiao Yang's hard support. The body shape that was blasted was forcibly stopped above the void. Xiao Yang had not turned his body shape yet. There was a bombardment of the void thunder beast, but it was already in front of him. Bang! Another heavy blow, Xiao Yang's unsteady body was finally blown out again. Under the terrible speed of the empty thunder beast, Xiao Yang had no chance to respond. In this war, Xiao Yang will be defeated. Bang! Bang! More than 10 times in succession, Xiao Yang did not know how much blood he vomited under the fierce bombardment. His ruddy face had turned pale. Nearly half of his bones were forcibly broken by the empty thunder beast. I'm afraid it's very difficult to recover. Damn, the beast is endless. If it goes on like this, I'm afraid I'll be killed here by the beast before I rush out of the vortex of space. Under the continuous bombardment of the empty thunder beast, Xiao Yang's anger finally rose again. He scolded in his heart, and then he couldn't help shouting. The body shape that had just been blasted out also stopped instantly. At the same time, the Dudi blood in his body and the Longhuang blood were instantly stimulated at this moment. At the center of Xiao Yang's eyebrows, a family pattern with purple and gold brilliance also emerged in an instant. With it, Xiao Yang's breath also soared sharply, and his whole body momentum was like a sharp blade. His momentum was like a rainbow and went straight into the sky. In an instant, Xiao Yang's strength has rapidly soared from the middle of the 3-star half-emperor to the early stage of the 5-star half-emperor. The momentum of the whole person is many times stronger than it was. Drink. The full strength in his body also made Xiao Yang couldn't help but look up to the sky and make a roar into the sky. In that roar, it was mixed with the sound of dragons singing. Vaguely, it was also echoed by the sound of foaming, which made this roar into the sky no less than some heaven-level fighting skills. Li drank it out. The world was shocked. In the depths of the endless void, it seemed that some guy was shocked. In the depths of the void, a pair of white eyes glittering with endless thunder slowly opened. In the pupils, a scene also slowly appeared. One is a monster with thunder flashing all over, and the other is a man with dragon scales wrapped all over and dragon arms. Dragon clan, go with you. When the 100-year period comes, my Thunder Beast Saint clan will become the overlord of the world of Warcraft. Then, you will be the prisoners of my Thunder Beast Saint clan. As for now, it's just a clown. The voice fell, the silver eyes closed slowly, the endless void also returned to silence again. In the space whirlpool, Xiao Yang roared and shook the sky, and the momentum of the 5-star and half-emperor swept away quickly. When the empty Thunder Beast touched Xiao Yang's breath, his whole body's power was suddenly stagnant, and his body shape that had not moved was still in place. Faintly, his huge body shape was trembling. In the pupil of the empty Thunder Beast, at the moment, it turns out that there is a color of fear flowing, and the source of the sense of fear is Xiao Yang in front of him at the moment. To be exact, it is the dragon phoenix blood in his body. Xiao Yang didn't notice this, but he couldn't help showing a suspicious look at the beast's paws. But after all, after hesitating for a moment, Xiao Yang still frowned and felt the terrible pressure around him. He suddenly gave a cold hum. The momentum of the 5-star and half-emperor was shocked, and his body was suddenly relaxed. Then the light flickered at his feet, and his body turned into a streamer and rushed towards the end of the space vortex. In the space vortex, the terrible pressure rages everywhere in this space, but at the moment, in the deepest part of the space vortex, there are bursts of sonic booms, just like thunder. The huge golden fist suddenly hit the space in front of it. The terrible force made the invisible space show a distorted concave fist seal, which confirmed the strength of the fist. The next moment, where the giant fist fell, the space finally exploded in a harsh sound explosion after a burst of distortion. A circle of invisible space fluctuations also spread, so that the pressure in this space suddenly dissipated. When the pressure was relieved, a shocking sound of dragon singing came suddenly, and then a golden streamer suddenly crossed the invisible space and appeared hundreds of miles away. Xiao Yang's huge body slowly stabilized, and his strong body easily resisted the terrible pressure again, and turned to look at the empty Thunder Beast in the distance. At the moment, the empty Thunder Beast is still standing in place. His terrible face looks particularly ferocious at the moment, but Xiao Yang doesn't know what kind of hard struggle this guy is doing in his heart at the moment. The terrible blood pressure made it feel afraid to look up in front of Xiao Yang. After all, anyway, the empty Thunder Beast at the moment is just a virtual shadow. But even so, the arrogance from the Numenon still does not allow it to give in. The emotions from two directions make this guy seem more struggling at the moment. Roar. Suddenly, the look in the empty Thunder Beast's eyes suddenly became violent. When his huge head looked up to the sky, he gave a shocking animal roar, and then his huge body was shocked. The silver light curtain in front of him appeared again, and then he hit it. Xiao Yang has been paying attention to the beast for a long time. At the moment, seeing his rage, he is also very calm in his heart. While the light curtain in front of him condenses, Xiao Yang's fist has been blasted on the void space behind him. However, this time, unlike before, while the pressure was removed, a real space wormhole appeared in front of Xiao Yang. Xiao Yang also looked a little stunned when he saw this, but in a flash, he had reacted. When he moved, he flashed into the wormhole in that space. However, when Xiao Yang's body just entered the wormhole in the space, behind him, the body of the empty Thunder Beast suddenly appeared. Although Xiao Yang's speed was not slow, he was still hit by this blow and was hit hard. Xiao Yang's body also disappeared in the vortex of the space. At the same time, in the outside world, there is a space ripple in a void space at this moment, and then the space breaks up after a burst of distortion, and a space wormhole also appears. Xiao Yang's figure shot out of it like garbage, but it was only a few hundred feet away. Xiao Yang suddenly shook his body and stood steadily in the void with a look of surprise on his face. Xiao Yang frowned and looked at the wormhole slowly disappearing, but he was suspicious. The blow of the empty Thunder Beast just now was enough to make Xiao Yang's chi and blood churn and disordered breath. But when he really bombarded Xiao Yang, Xiao Yang clearly felt that this guy was holding his hand at the critical moment. He was afraid that he didn't even have half of the power before. This surprised Xiao Yang. He shook his head. It's hard for Xiao Yang to guess the reason. At present, the world around him has turned into a dark and empty world under the space vortex. Everything here is swallowed up by the space vortex. Seeing this scene, Xiao Yang couldn't help feeling dignified. The sky was completely wrapped by the space vortex. If he couldn't find the exit, he might die. At the moment, the only way is to constantly enter the space vortex, take the opportunity and find the final way out by luck. Knowing that there are tigers in the mountain, he prefers to travel in the Tiger Mountain. There is no way back. Xiao Yang must enter the vortex of space. This is really God's will. Although someone wanted to recover slightly, unfortunately, time waits for no man. If he continues like this, the pressure in the space vortex will become more and more terrible. In addition, with the existence of the virtual shadow of the empty thunder beast, Xiao Yang is really dangerous. With this in mind, Xiao Yang didn't dare to breathe anymore. His body flashed quickly, so he flashed into another space vortex. Hiss. With a hissing sound, Xiao Yang's body appeared in the space vortex again. As soon as he entered the eye, it was an empty darkness. Any light would be swallowed up by the darkness here. However, when Xiao Yang saw all this, his eyebrows could not help but wrinkle slightly. Here, there was some strange similarity with the scene in the space vortex just now. Roar. Suddenly, an animal roar like thunder suddenly sounded from behind Xiao Yang. At this moment, Xiao Yang's face finally changed in an instant. The animal roar seemed to come from the empty thunder beast. Here, it's still the space just now. At the moment of hearing the beast roar, Xiao Yang twisted his body like a conditioned reflex. At the same time, the gorgeous different fire converged rapidly in Xiao Yang's palm. When Xiao Yang turned around, it converged into a gorgeous different fire giant ruler. Bang! When Xiao Yang was fully awake, the giant ruler in his hand was pounded with the Lingtian monster behind him. With a bang, Xiao Yang's body was instantly repulsed by the terrible force from the collision, and there was no room for maneuver. But the empty thunder beast, as if it had been hit hard, gave a painful neighing, and its body retreated hundreds of steps. This scene was also reflected in Xiao Yang's eyes. When even a bright light flashed in the depths of his pupils, he looked at the strange fire giant ruler in his hand, his eyes turned slightly, and then it was like thinking of something. When his mind moved, the strange fire giant ruler dispersed in an instant, while Xiao Yang waved his palm, an invisible fire gushed out in an instant, condensing an invisible strange fire armor on Xiao Yang's body surface. After finishing these, Xiao Yang waved his palm again, and the invisible fire poured out like water droplets, filling the whole space vortex. The empty thunder beast seemed to notice something. He looked around in a little panic. His huge body shrank again at the moment. It was obviously afraid of the strange fire used by Xiao Yang at the moment. Xiao Yang saw this, but the corners of his mouth aroused a smile. Obviously, he was quite satisfied with the result. Sure enough, the virtual shadow is a virtual shadow. In the end, it's just a shadow. In front of my falling heart, you can't do your best. With a soft smile, Xiao Yang suddenly waved the emptiness in front of him, and the falling heart inflammation turned into an invisible brilliance, like the new branches of old trees, condensed into an invisible giant, and the power of terrible flames spread, making the surrounding space distorted. With a strong wave of the giant ruler, the countless invisible different fires scattered between heaven and earth also turned into invisible fire beams converging on the giant ruler of the different fire at the moment as if they had received any command. The invisible fire is attached to the ruler. The whole heaven and earth seems to be integrated into an invisible tripod furnace. It is constantly distorted. The original invisible space looks like a viscous liquid at the moment. The nether thunder beast felt the rapidly dispersed strange fire around him. Before he could breathe a sigh of relief, he felt the pressure from Xiao Yang. Coupled with the strange fire in his hand at the moment, an unspeakable sense of terror and threat, it hit the heart of the nether thunder beast like heaven. The flames devour the wave ruler. Go! With a violent drink, the invisible giant ruler of different fire in Xiao Yang's palm also moved with this violent drink. An invisible strength came out in an instant and bombarded the empty thunder beast. Although Xiao Yang's attack was quite powerful, after all, the empty thunder beast was a first-class existence in the world of Warcraft. Even if it was only a virtual shadow, it also had its own pride. Moreover, he was afraid in front of a small semi-emperor. How could he accept it? Immediately, his anger rose again, a wave of terror that looked down on the world also spread along with it. Roar. With a low animal roar, the huge body of the empty thunder beast was suddenly shocked, and the terrible power made the space vortex tremble. Before the low roar fell, the empty thunder beast was already in a flash and crashed into Xiao Yang's attack. At this moment, the huge body of the void thunder beast looks like a small planet, with an extremely overbearing and terrible atmosphere. It is not afraid of the invisible strength. It is like a crazy bison. It looks like it will not stop until it smashes Xiao Yang. Boom. A bang that shook heaven and earth, wrapped with invisible airwaves, quickly swept through the space vortex. The powerful power made the space vortex sway at the moment, and the whole space became distorted. Finally, a space crack with a width of 100 feet appeared in the space vortex. Look at the crack, it went straight to the outside world. It can be seen that the power generated by this bombardment between Xiao Yang and him is what a terror. After a long time, the shaking space finally stabilized slowly, but everyone knows that the space vortex will disperse by itself in a short time. After all, without the power of space as a support, this space has been completely collapsed. At the moment, it's just an appearance. However, at the moment, Xiao Yang frowned, looked at the empty thunder beast with a dim thunderlight, and looked at his body. A strange feeling rose from the bottom of his heart. At the end of the blow just now, Xiao Yang did not expect that the beast had left his hand. In other words, they dare not attack with all their strength. But this is not what Xiao Yang is concerned about at the moment. Xiao Yang clearly noticed that at the moment when the flame devoured the wave ruler collided with it, at the moment when the powerful force burst out, there seemed to be something on the body of the empty thunder beast, which was forcibly blasted out and spread in the vortex of the whole space. When Xiao Yang came into contact with that special energy, he also clearly felt that there was a slight sense of crispness on his body, which made Xiao Yang quite comfortable. For this, Xiao Yang was also very clear, which was the result of the body's quenching. However, under this, Xiao Yang also felt another more subtle force, which was invisible, but also made Xiao Yang indescribable. The only thing that can be explained is that while Xiao Yang feels the power, he seems to have a new feeling about the space in front of him. In this void space, there is another power that he can't find. That feeling is the power of space. Unexpectedly, the power of the void on this little guy is so strong that it's just a virtual shadow. It can condense such pure power of space. I think this little guy's body also has a good position among the void thunder beasts. Hey, old man, I'm really out of my sight today. Suddenly, the voice of Bone quiet words came slowly again. From his voice, it was not difficult to hear that even he had a sense of admiration for the real noumenon of the empty thunder beast. It seemed that the real noumenon of the empty thunder beast was really terrible. Xiao Yang was shocked when he heard these words from Jiu. He was also a little interested in the real body of the empty thunder beast, but right now, he suddenly didn't give up the space vortex. Nether thunder beasts exist in the nether space, and rarely appear at ordinary times. Some low-level nether thunder beasts can't even appear between heaven and earth. If you miss this opportunity today, I'm afraid it's impossible in the future. The power of space is a great tonic for Xiao Yang to cultivate Tianjueben. If he can get enough power of space, even if it is the Jueban on this day, Xiao Yang will control it all within 1 month. At that time, I'm afraid he is the strong one against the Emperor, and Xiao Yang can face it. Of course, the premise is to have enough space power. Moreover, refining space power is not a simple thing. Yuanwu mainland has dense space, which is not comparable to the fighting mainland at all. Therefore, even if Xiao Yang wants to extract a trace of space power, he has some trouble. Now he has such an opportunity to absorb pure space power. Xiao Yang naturally doesn't want to let go easily. Xiao Yang raised an inexplicable smile at the corner of his mouth, but it made the empty thunder beast shiver. Xiao Yang's tongue fainted his lips and smiled. The strange fire in his palm suddenly appeared, and the huge ruler of the different fire condensed in an instant. Then he moved his body, so he took the initiative to attack and rushed towards the empty thunder beast. This time, Xiao Yang wants to treat him with his own way and blow up his dog's head. In the void space, Xiao Yang held an invisible fire giant ruler. The terrible high temperature spread from the giant ruler, making the surrounding space constantly distorted. Xiao Yang slowly poked out a palm, and then a terrible suction in the palm gushed out in an instant, making this empty space blow a cold wind. With the emergence of this yin wind, in this void space, a trace of small light spots that cannot be detected by the naked eye appear from the vortex of the whole space, and then they are controlled by the suction in Xiao Yang's palm and fully incorporated into Xiao Yang's palm. When the small light spots were swallowed up by Xiao Yang, A ray of fine bright silver light flashed in the depths of the pupils of Xiao Yang's eyes and was hidden in Xiao Yang's body. He breathed out a long breath of turbid qi, and Xiao Yang's body was stable in the void. At 100 feet in front of him, the body of the void thunder beast looked a little embarrassed, and his mouth also roared. Xiao Yang smiled coldly when he saw this. At the beginning, when this guy took the opportunity to abuse him, he didn't see that he had left his hand. At the moment, however, he has begged for mercy. These animals are really masters who eat soft and fear hard. Beg for mercy. It's such a situation now. Forgive you and bring you to realize it in the future. Don't I let the tiger go back to the mountain? Do you think I'll do such a thing that asks for trouble? Before the words fell, Xiao Yang had a cold smile. The invisible giant ruler suddenly waved in front of him. The great force generated when the giant ruler waved also made Xiao Yang's body move. Xiao Yang suddenly rushed through his body and turned into a light and shadow, and came to the empty thunder beast in an instant. When the giant ruler turned his backhand, he grasped the handle of the ruler, and then the strength in the palm condensed rapidly, and 1 foot bombarded the head of the empty thunder beast. After swallowing the pure and extreme power of space, Xiao Yang already has more subtle control over space. In addition, Tianjueba's advanced body fighting skills are displayed in an instant, and the speed is more terrible than usual. If we talk about Xiao Yang's speed at the moment, I'm afraid it's even better than the 8-star and half emperor. With the speed of terror and the more powerful power of Xiao Yang, at the moment, even this empty thunder beast has to feel a pressure. With the suppression of blood and strange fire, it is really too difficult for it to turn over. Moreover, Xiao Yang's physical strength is not much worse than it. It was bombed by Xiao Yang before. At the moment, this empty thunder beast is already the end of a powerful crossbow. At the moment, its struggle is just a struggle of trapped animals. Boom! With a roar, Xiao Yang's body retreated 100 steps, but the invisible fire ruler in his hand was waved again. Looking at the empty thunder beast, he suffered a violent blow from Xiao Yang, and his body also flew back thousands of miles uncontrollably. He stopped slowly after hitting bursts of terrible spatial fluctuations. Although it doesn't matter, his solid body is slightly lax. Large invisible light spots also spread from him to the vortex of the whole space, but they were finally collected by Xiao Yang and turned into a part of his body. For Xiao Yang's next step, the empty thunder beast has no chance to escape. Today, the empty thunder beast is bound to be taken away by Xiao Yang. The original biggest crisis has turned into Xiao Yang's welfare. January passed quietly. In the wild ancient city, the prelude to the herbalist conference has turned into the past. Today, on the empty square, it seems quite lively. Usually, some old monsters who are not born are finally present today. There are already dozens of strong semi-emperors on the void square today. Among them, the most powerful ones have reached the level of 8-star and half emperors, that is, 5-star and half emperors. Among them, they are only in the middle of the ranking. It can be imagined how terrible the power on the void square today is. If such peak strength can be united, I'm afraid it will be placed in the whole southern region. It can also be regarded as a real detached force. However, today, the reason why these high-ranking semi-emperors gather here is that, on the one hand, they have been closed for many years, so they want to take advantage of this exit to explore the strength of those old guys. On the other hand, it is also the most important. This time, there are high-level herbalists participating in the herbalist meeting. According to the latest news they got, there are not only 2 high-level herbalists, but 3. In the eyes of these high-level half-emperors, the weight represented by the 3 high-level herbalists is probably no less than the whole herbalist guild. It can be imagined that the 3 people can represent a force and the real status of high-level herbalist. Second-level herbalists, at such a level, even some 8-star and a half emperors among them dare not trust in front of them. Even if the strength of the other party is less than their own, as long as they reach the level of second-level herbalists, they can't easily provoke them. On the contrary, if they can make friends, they will never be enemies with them. Because no one knows how many 8-star and a half emperor strong people will protect the path behind a second-class herbalist. The real appeal of a herbalist is really reflected at this moment. At the moment, the grandstand is already covered by a dark head, even the vast high altitude is also surrounded by a hanging figure. At the moment, they are too lazy to change the rules of half-emperor but not half-emperor. This scene is really rare in this life. I can't say that if someone wants to kill them at the moment, someone will insist on waiting until the beginning of the conference. On the referee's bench, Jiu Li and Red Phosphorus sat side by side. At the moment, they looked a little worried, frowned deeply, and glanced at the whole void square, as if they were searching for something. Scanning for a week, the two people's already wrinkled eyebrows wrinkled deeper at this moment. Looking at each other, they all saw a trace of anxiety in each other's eyes. Why hasn't the rock owl come yet? Today is the day when he competes with Wei Yi Mojai. Doesn't he know? Red Phosphorus frowned, glanced at Wei Yi and Mojai sitting in the distance, and whispered to Jiu Li. Jiu Li also shook his head slightly, his eyes met with Red Phosphorus, sighed and whispered back. No, I went to his residence last night. He wasn't there. It seems that I didn't know. Moreover, I found a small pool of bloodstains at Xiao Yang's door yesterday. The words in Guli's mouth haven't fallen yet. The red phosphorus on one side is as big as a copper bell, and there is a color of anger flowing in a pair of fierce eyes. If that pool of blood is Xiao Yang's, doesn't it mean that Xiao Yang has? At this point, Red Phosphorus's heart was filled with a burst of anger. A pair of eyes that wanted to spit fire also turned to the position of Mojai, but it happened to see the sneer from the corner of Mojai's mouth. The anger in his heart was an instant riot, and Red Phosphorus wanted to fight. In front of such scum, Red Phosphorus is really difficult to abide by its status as vice president of the Herbalist Association. It moves suddenly and wants to fight. Jiu Li on one side stopped Red Phosphorus in front of him, and his eyes indicated that Red Phosphorus should not act rashly. After all, they are both high-level herbalists, and they must have a lot of contacts. Although they are not afraid, they rush to do it. Without any evidence, they will only be at a disadvantage. In addition, there are many strong semi-emperors on one side. I'm afraid the 8-star semi-emperors will not sit idly by. Once they make a move, they are afraid it will be difficult for them to end. Feeling the meaning in Jiu Li's eyes, Red Phosphorus also flashed a violent color on his face, but finally turned into a cold hum, turned and sat on his stone chair without saying more. For this, at the moment, Mojai and Wei Yi are all in the eyes, and they naturally know the reason. Xiao Yang disappeared for a month, and they dare to believe that Xiao Yang must have been destroyed by the joint efforts of Fang Zun and Wang Qi. Today's two people have already stood on the united front. It goes without saying that Xiao Yang's death is the first position of the conference. However, Jiu Li didn't know anything about these. At the moment, his heart was hope. If something happened to Xiao Yang, at least they still had Wei Yi's last card. Hehe, President Jiu Li, you see, I've been sitting here all morning. I don't know when the competition between high-level herbalists will start. Suddenly, a voice that looked old but full of momentum was like a flood thunder, slowly spreading on the whole empty square. When Jiu Li heard this, his face became more and more ugly. This old man, what happened to him? Can't you see it with your shrewdness? He asked such a move clearly at this time. Do you really want my herbalist guild to make a fool of himself? When the voice came out, the people on the whole void square also stirred up, and bursts of words came quickly, making Jiu Li's face more and more ugly. As the protagonists of the scene, Mojai and Wei Yi looked at Jiu Li with a sneer. Mojai winked at Wei Yi. Wei Yi understood at a glance and nodded slightly. Then he stood up with a smile and looked at Jiu Li. He said with a strange smile, Mr. President, you see, even Mr. who has spoken. Otherwise, the conference will start first. If it's according to the rules, it's early. There are many powerful figures present. We can't hang them here all the time. Anyway, this is a competition between the three of us. It's easy to start early. As soon as the voice fell, Jiu Li's face had already turned into a gloomy one. Until now, a semi-emperor supreme power in this competition, he noticed that as the three protagonists in this competition, there were only two present in this competition. In this situation, there was a burst of suspicion. Immediately, a strong man with 7 stars and a half emperors could not help but stand up and ask Jiu Li. President Jiu Li, I remember that there should be 3 high-level herbalists competing today. Now only Master Mo and Master Wei Yi are present, and there should be the new second-level herbalist, Yang Xiao, right? As soon as the voice of this population fell, all the eyes in this scene fell on Jiu Li. The reason why Darby refused to start refining medicine today is self-evident. Hehe, Brother Yang is right. There is indeed another rock owl. However, he hasn't arrived yet. I think I'd better wait until he comes. President, are you so worried about me because you are waiting for the boy to come? With my medicine refining level and all your strength, you may not lose to Mojai. But now, you are putting all your hopes on the rock owl. How can you save my face as the chief medicine refiner? This. Jiu Li's fierce eyes looked at Wei Yi in an instant. Even Wei Yi could not bear the momentum of devouring people. As a 1-star-and-a-half emperor, he could not bear even his breath in front of Jiu Li. It is conceivable that the 8-star-and-a-half emperor is powerful. However, Wei Yi is also a high-level medicine refiner. He has more soul power than ordinary people. Although he can't resist Jiu Li, if he just resists it, Wei Yi thinks he can do it. President Jiu Li, why should you take it out on your own people? If the rock owl doesn't come, he won't come. Just give it up and admit defeat. It's just a young generation. Even if the soul power catches up with you, you don't just look at the soul power. As the president of the Medicine Refining Association, you should know it very well. The voice fell, and an old man in a hemp robe appeared in front of Jiu Li out of thin air. A breath of terror comparable to Jiu Li spread and offset each other with Jiu Li's momentum, and the terrorist momentum faced by Wei Yi finally dispersed slowly. Old monster who, are you trying to protect him? The old man called who Laoge smiled and refused to comment. Wei Yi also glanced around with a little guilty eyes. With his ability, he wanted to ask the old guy to help himself, but some couldn't do it. The old who monster was also an old man who had just been invited after Mo Zhai paid a high price. Even Jiu Li did not dare to act rashly when he was present. I think President Jiu Li should not worry about this problem. At present, the most important thing is the Medicine Refining Association. Since the rock owl doesn't dare to come forward, President Jiu Li, let's announce it. Jiu Li's face was cold and stern. He narrowed his old eyes slightly and looked at Hu Laoge. He said without salt. Announce. Announce what? It's natural that the rock owl ran away, but it seems that President Jiu Li is reluctant. In that case, I'll announce it for you. Before the voice fell, without Jiu Li's action, Hu Laoge flashed and appeared in the middle of the whole void square, standing in the void with his feet. At the same time, a light word came out slowly. In view of the fact that Taoist friend Yang Xiao has been away from the wild ancient city for 1 month, I'm going to discuss with the president of the Medicine Refining Association. And because this Yang Xiao was once the title-linked elder of the Medicine Refining Association, President Jiu Li is inconvenient to come forward, so I'm going to announce that the Yang Xiao was announced in the High-Level Medicine Refining Association competition of the Medicine Refining Association. Thank President Jiu Li for his burden. There are some things to deal with, so I'm late. However, it's not necessary to be eliminated. This video will end here.